Pardon the eruption, but I'm HunterZinfected, and I'm here with...
I'm TrainerJosh, and welcome back to another episode of Pardon the Eruption.
Yep, it's the end of week 2 in DPL, and the storylines are already brewing. Josh, tell me, the game of the series for all the series except your own, what do you have?
Okay, so I'm going to begin with the Old Heads versus Danger Zone. I'm going to give that to Beardy versus Odin, where basically I was a very back and forth game. Well, yeah, back and forth game where Carmine Cobalin was able to break open the team, forcing the Scarf Cartana from Odin's side, to which it would die to Roughskin Rocky Helmet to vacuum wave Scizor, and then Beardy would then proceed to win by gunshot poison on Hydro Seal in the game. Ghosting Majorities versus Wings of Wrath, and give it to Habita versus Bird. Bird was getting absolutely smoked, and then he proceeded to smoke back Habita with the Calm Mind Mew. But then Habita nearly brings it back with Flame Charge Moltres, but doesn't win because Vacuum Wave Mew was in the back.
That vacuum wave was crazy.
Yeah, like it was like completely out of the blue, and he lost without it. And then for y'all's series, I'm going to give that up to I versus Zern, where we saw Subseed, Flynium Z, Flies, Celesteela go stupid on Zern early game. However, Zern did bring it back to a 3-2 lead in his favor, but Flame Charge, Thunder Punch Ape in combination with Encore Whimsicott to beat the Quilladin was too much for him.
I will say, I got real nervous at the end of that I game. I thought it seemed so dominant at the beginning, and then all of a sudden... Anyways, for your series, I have you versus Chip. Not because it was particularly amazing, but because it was the best game in that whole series, because that series was super scuffed, and overall, pretty, how do I say this? Bad?
Yeah, they were very lopsided, or bad.
There was one specific game that we'll talk about in a bit that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, now for Old Heads and Danger Zone, I'm going to have to give it to Rob versus TC. I think there's one really cool play at the end that happened in that game. The Keldeo was going ham. I thought TC might, like, I knew he wasn't going to bring it back, but, like, at the back of my mind, I was like, is he going to bring this back? You know, I wasn't 100% sold that Rob won that game. And then real quick, the last series, Ghosting Majorities and Wings of Wrath, I have the Brian versus Hacker game. That game was pretty close. I didn't get to watch it live. But yeah, that was a good game. Okay. Next question, Josh. What do you think about the new people this season?
I think the best way to describe these new players so far has been completely underwhelming, if not completely disappointing. And I think a very good example for this will be y'all's teammate B or whatever.
Hey,
BEA.
How dare you, bro. Dude? BEA is the GOAT.
Dude, he was for almost 29K, dude. Nearly 30K. He's 0-2, and not just that. Like his games haven't even been close. Like it's like really.
He got hacked both games by two incredible players. That's why.
I don't. No, that's not what you told me, dude.
What are you talking about?
But even besides him, there's other players such as Hacker, who's kind of a brand new player, but he did have one game previous to this season, but he was 0-1 before. He's now 0-3, and he went for a tremendous amount as well, and he is yet to win. And then there's a couple other players who are brand new that kind of play week 1, some play week 2, and a lot of them have not won. And we continue to see a pretty top part of the leaderboard where people such as myself, you, Aster, IA, all these players that already have...
Okay. You say that, but there's Bird and Smoke on TJ, both new players, both 2-0 undefeated in the top 12 that are still 2-0 undefeated. Those two are new players, and they're both smoking. Granted, Bird did get a little hacks. So did Smoke on TJ. I think
Smoke on TJ got a shit ton of hacks. What are you talking about?
I think they both beat Finch, right? No, wait. No, did they? I think they did.
I honestly forget who Finch lost to week 1.
I know he lost to Smoke on TJ, for sure. But I don't remember who else he lost to. I think it was the bird. It was the bird. Okay,
Wow. Okay.
but I know there's those two, but then there's also someone like Nerf. I think that's the biggest example of a new I guess up and coming. That's not the right word, but just a new DPL player that totally flopped the bed after they went for what 22K after he was expected to do what he did in TDT and do 7-1. So that is a tragedy for Nerf, especially because both of
Yeah,
his games were big time chokes, in my opinion.
I absolutely agree. So basically, long story short, these new players have not,
Yeah,
especially the ones that went for a lot of
yeah,
money, have
they're
not performed at all.
mostly trash. Okay, now
Yeah.
next, Josh, what do you think about the so far eighth member of the season timer?
I want to give a quick shout out to Gregulator, aka Greg, aka the mod of this whole thing, for being a big advocate of the timer. And a lot of people, for some reason, afraid from it. But I feel like timer has been in almost every game so far this season, and it has been the absolute MVP of the league. We've had so far 2 losses because of timer, where you could argue both people
Which
who
is
lost the timer should have won that game, which is even
incredible that
funnier.
there are two losses at all.
Yeah. Obviously, we don't know if there's going to be any more, but even besides those 2 losses, there's been some games where timer was a considerable issue. Even my first opponent, he had 15 seconds left in the timer before he was given a loss. So, like, timer has been extremely dubious for a lot of these players. Where I don't know.
Yeah,
In a
for
game such as like Pokemon, I feel like if you're going down to anything lower than 120 seconds, you're taking too much damn time. I don't care how much you're calcing.
okay,
Like,
I think
I
it's
don't get
fine
it.
if you go down to 90 seconds. Like it's not that big a deal, right?
You
90
have 3
seconds?
minutes. You have 3 minutes. Or it might no. It's 5. It's legit 300 seconds. You have
No, no.
5 minutes, dude.
Dude, it's not that bad. Hold on. No, what? It's 300 seconds, right?
That's 5 minutes,
That's
you
not 5
idiot.
minutes.
60 times 5 is 300. What are you talking about?
No, you're right. Okay, wait. Yeah, you're right. It is 5 minutes. Either way, it's okay to take like 4 minutes. But like once you're in your final minute, it's like toast, right? Now, granted, they're like K. Crick Henrik, for example. Henrik, he's new. So he might have gotten a little nervous going up against a proclaimed player like K. Crick, like high echelon, whatever. But then there's Jimmy versus Toxic.
Yeah, I don't have any words for that game,
I'm
dude.
just saying that series was 2-0 before that game in your favor. And then
Yeah.
that game happens, Toxic loses to Timer, and apparently what was supposed to be a winnable game, easily winnable game for him, and then all of a sudden y'all lose the next four straight. And I'm just saying that was a big blow to I think y'all's like I guess morale. Um,
And yeah, in general, if a player loses to timer in a game where especially you're supposed to win, it's completely
Yeah, it's a
demoralizing. Yeah.
tragedy. Timer is taking lives this season. Good stuff,
Yeah.
Josh. Okay, now time for a new segment. You ready? This one is
I'm,
called
I'm ready.
Over Unaware. Here's how it'll work. I'll be giving you a number and a team or player. Then you have to tell me whether you think they'll hit the over or under on that number. So, Josh,
Yes.
over under the ghosting majority's 3.5 wins for the season.
I'm gonna give him the over on this one. I think they'll hit 4 wins. They do have a decently tough schedule, including I believe our team, and my team. Uh, I think I said that correctly,
What?
but
You said our
I,
team.
I know I said ours twice. They're gonna have to face our team, like my team and your team,
Oh,
but nonetheless, they do have a pretty solid roster. They got a lot of guys I like. I've mentioned this before, and I don't see them losing that many games in this final 5 week stretch for them. So I think they will hit the over of 4 games
you
as
think they're gonna get
wins.
4 games? I'm gonna have to say this is tough, but I'm gonna say the under. Um,
Why is that?
who are they facing this week? You guys?
They face us. Yeah,
Yeah, and then who did they face last week? They faced Wings of Wrath and they
Wings of
lost.
Wrath. Yeah, they
So
face Wings of
I
Wrath.
think I think first of all we're gonna beat them, so that's one loss, and then you guys will probably beat them. I'm assuming, and I think that's an is that enough to get them under 4 wins? No, but I think they. I don't think they have it in them. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't think the ghosting majorities. Let's look at their lineup this week. They have Undead in their lineup. I know, I know Undead beat K Crick, but he clicked Stealth Rocks when they were already up. Oh man, look at their lineup this week. The ghosting majorities.
Well, I think it's like a considerably weak lineup.
I think it is. Now, granted, they're probably trying to play a bunch of players that they haven't played yet. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's why I don't have faith in this team. I need to see them. I need to see how they perform this week. But I'm gonna go with the under. Okay,
Okay.
Theo over under 4.5 wins.
I'm going to give him the over on this one. This guy's been a consistent great player. He gets a lot of shit for running a lot of stallish, very bulky teams, and I can understand that greatly.
Hey,
Because
there's nothing wrong with stall. That's all I'm
I,
saying.
I mean, I don't like the format, but I agree. Like, if you can find a way to
It's
win
not a format.
consistently,
It's not a format. It's a play style. It's
that's
a
what I
way of
meant.
life. It's a way of life.
If you can find a way to consistently win with that style of play, I have a lot of respect for you. And consistently, he's looked great almost
It's
every
not.
season he's played.
He doesn't even use hard stall like that. It's like bulky
That's just
balance.
it's just the meme that he uses stall, but yeah, he realistically hasn't used stall in like a long ass time. It's been more bulky offense
And
lately.
this is probably like the least stally teams he's ever had to use.
Yeah, and I think he drafted these teams is what I heard. But going back to my point, I think if I recall correctly, he has basically won very comfortably, including one of my teammates, Troy. He completely kicked his ass. So I think he's going to continue this dominant stretch of games, and he will hit 5 wins. I think by the end of the season, by the end of the regular season,
5 wins exactly, or at least 5 wins.
at least five.
I'm gonna I'm gonna say the under, and here's why. Theo consistently goes like 4-3. Sometimes he does get that fifth win. But I think he's gonna fall off. I think what team is he on? I forget.
He's on Wig.
He's on Wig.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's on Wig.
I think he does have good support, but like the support consists of L5 and what chipboard, I guess.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. Like money guy, no. Maybe he'll give you a mock, but that's about it. Uh,
yeah. I honestly don't. I mean, they got field support too, to be
no,
fair. But I
that's
don't.
okay. That's just a bunch of mocks. That he's gonna give you sets that aren't gonna work most of the time. Um, but yeah, he does give you mocks, so I guess you can feel comfortable there. Anyways, I'm saying the under. So now the over under on my team, Josh, which is
Yeah.
5.5 wins. Toe.
Um, I mean this seriously when I say I think you guys are the best team in the league, and I feel like it's not even close. I would argue Wings of Wrath, but the only reason why you can't really argue that is because they've had very close series so far. Whereas for you guys, even though you did win 4-3, obviously your week one performance was extremely dominant. And
Yes,
with this one,
sir.
this series too, I mean, your losses that you did suffer were kind of like due to unfortunate circumstances, in my opinion.
One of
So
them was very
I
haxy.
yeah, so I think you guys will hit 6 wins. You look like a 6-win team. Hopefully, your only loss is to us, but even then, I kind of like y'all's matchup versus us personally. But that's just me, and I think you guys will hit that 6-win mark.
Well, thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. I'm going to comment on your team instead of commenting on my own. The new, no, Noble Victory. Um,
Yeah,
I'll say the over under 4.5 wins. I'm going to say the, I'm sorry, Josh. I'm going to have to say the under. Um, Specifically because it looked like this past week y'all just collapsed. If y'all won this past week, easy over. Honestly, I think this would be way too low. In fact, but
yeah, I
because of
agree.
how you lost this past week, it's giving me these vibes that it's like you guys might make playoffs, but you might not be a real contending team type of vibe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have to. I don't want y'all to hit the under, but I'm predicting y'all to hit under 4.5 wins.
Yeah, for reasons I could see where you could see like a Rocky Helmet Virizion type of vibe coming from us,
Hey,
but
I
I
didn't say
think
that. You said that.
I'm giving it an example because I think that's what you're pointing at, even if it's not necessarily true. But I think obviously if you can overcome the unfortunate circumstance that was Toxic's game and win this series versus a decent team like the Ghosted Majorities, I think we could definitely trend in the right direction. But I do see the argument.
All right. All right. Time for our sacred lightning round. We got to go fast, Josh, okay? All
All
right.
right.
So, what's the best set of the week, Josh?
I'm gonna have to give it to Beardy's call Michael Ballion because if it doesn't go as crazy as it did, it doesn't open up the game for Beardy and give him a chance to win that game as he did.
I'm going to have to give best set to Sablo's Toxic Facade Medicham for the Mew. I thought that was a really cool set. He toxics the Mew as it comes hard in on the Mega Medi, and then he starts facading it, which is like better than Double Edge because that's all I ever see from Mega Medi. I just thought it was cool, and then he had Drain Punch to heal a little. I thought it was something different. I don't think I've ever seen it. I know it's not that creative of a set. Anyways, what about the worst set, Josh?
Oh, it's without a doubt goes to TJ running max attack Gren, which is like it's fine, right? But the opponent had a Quagsire and a Mew. You want to know how much that Mew took from a crit U-turn? It took 35 fucking percent, dude, from a U-turn. Max attack. I read the calcs. I'm like, dude, what is this stupid set? Like, there were so many better sets they could have
Dude,
ran. Like Taunt Special was so much better theoretically. I don't understand.
yeah, that was incredible. Okay, my worst set. I'm gonna have to give it to Rin's Sub Calm Mind Scald Snarl Raikou. I know that set has come before in a previous season versus like Finch, I think, and it worked or something. But man, was that set not good here, and it looked so bad in this game versus I think it was Volcan. Um,
It was Volcan, yeah.
yeah, so I'm giving that worst set. How about best play, Josh?
The best play, I'm gonna have to give this to the sequence played by Sharky's Munchlax, where in the beginning of the game it effectively killed the Electabuzz by clicking EQ into pursuit on the Volt switch. But then later in that
Oh,
game, the Metagross was able to bait the trick because Sharky, he was, I guess you could say he was feeling that he would predict the Munchlax first. Then he went into Munchlax, where he would EQ the Victini because he read that Phil was saying on the EQ instead of pursuit, and then he
yeah,
pursued after to kill the
yeah,
Victini. Just very impressive set of plays that really put Sharky in a really
yep,
good position to win the
yep.
game.
I'm gonna have to say Rob Jr.'s Custab Scout at the end. I think that's what he was doing with Sneasel, sacking it to Snorlax Custab before bringing in Keldeo. Because if Sneasel couldn't kill Snorlax at the end, he would have lost that game. Moving
I
on,
agree.
how about the worst play? Quickly.
So obviously, I'm gonna have to give it to the Stealth Rock and Relax like that he clicked it. But just so I can give you guys a bonus, I'm also gonna give it to um, what's his name, to Pichu, because he doubled on the Sleep Talking Spiritomb, where I think he doesn't have to do that, and he could probably would have low opening, but instead he got really aggressive to try to end the game early, and it bit him in the ass.
Yeah, that was more bad luck than like a bad play, but I also agree it was unnecessary. I'm gonna have to say checkmates SD, my own teammate when he SD'd again on a foul play slow, bro. When we knew it was coming, when we've done the calcs beforehand about it was it was rough. He won the game though. He won the game because I don't know how, but he won it. And then final thing, Josh, your predictions. What do you have?
Okay, so for the first one, for you guys versus Draft Danger Zone, I'm sorry, I actually have you guys winning 4-3. I think it's going to be a very close series.
Wow.
Like obviously we've talked a lot of shit about Danger Zone, but I think Volcan versus Ice, Finch versus Slick, and TCMTM versus Ugubu is a serious concern for y'all. But I do like the other games personally for you guys.
Well, I have us winning 7-0. I think we're better. I think we win every player matchup and we win every team matchup and everything. So that's unfortunate for Danger Zone. All right, Hungry Men versus Wigglytuff. I'll go first. I'm going to say
Okay,
Wig in 4-3 fashion. They're going to finish Hungry Men and pretty much kill their season.
I actually have Hungry Man winning 4-3
Wow.
themselves, and we've talked a lot of smack about Hungry Men and their willingness to actually give good competition. But they do have 100p and Glock playing this week. And if both of them can get the wins, I think they have a really good chance to win this
Oh,
series.
you know what? Let me tell you who I have winning. I have 100p beating Theo. I have Jimmy G beating Glop. I have Zern winning, Henrik, Obi3, Spitfire, and Chip. All right. Now, Wings of Wrath versus Old Heads. I have in this order Sebi winning, Habito winning, Smoke on TJ winning, K-Crick, Aster, Sablo, Amo. So I have Wings of Wrath winning in 5-2.
I unironically have Wings of Wrath winning 7-0, but before you guys flame me in the comments section, I will elaborate that there are some very big games that I think can definitely go either way. For example, Devin versus TJ should be a really badass game, probably the best of the week, if I had to guess. Two very balanced players, obviously, and I think obviously Kaker coming off a very, very bad loss. I think best, especially playing in a new tier this week, you might have some more rejuvenized vibes and energy coming into this week to definitely get a good win.
Also,
So it could go either way.
yeah, my bad. I have them winning 6-1. I thought I had Sebi winning. No, I have Rai winning.
Oh, I also another mention. Rob is like very much not favored to win against Sablo, which is very very surprising to see. I think Rob is still very talented, and Sablo, even though he had a great showing last week, could be very spotty. So we'll see.
Yeah, so I only have Smoke on TJ beating Devin for Old Heads. All right, Noble Victory versus Ghosting Majorities. I have a 5-2 victory for you guys. Only Pyronox and Sun beating TDG and Killimanati or whatever.
Yeah, Illuminati. I have us winning 7-0, and I do understand y'all's concerns, but
But
TDG
it's like
has brought some really clutch sets so far. Has played clutch, and I think Illuminati. You haven't seen him yet,
I,
but he's a talented player.
I think
He's going to show.
that's a hesitant 7-0. You're like, it's a 7-0.
I mean, I have to say it's a 7-0 for my team, but realistically, I could see it ending 5-2. But I think we win this week very easily.
All right. No faith in your teammates. Got it. All right. Well, that's it for Pardon the Eruption today. Come back next week as we do our mids overview and how the season is going.